Our topic for today is, what was your true love story? This is a super popular answer that someone posted without revealing their identity. Perhaps is not the best word to use here. I'm still very much alive and still very much in love, so it's not over. My story has no ending, only a so far. You should be prepared for a long read because it has not been a simple story so far. To start with, I grew up in a very cold family. I can't talk about before my earliest memories, but with that proviso, my mother never has kissed me and hugged me for the first time when I graduated from university, almost 30 years old. If I wanted to, I could count the times I've been hugged since, all for essentially big moments like the graduation. I've never heard the "I love you" stuff from her. She was exactly the same with my sister. My dad was probably as cold, but he was so seldom home. How could you tell? I had numerous out-of-the-body experiences. OOBs. Starting about age 7, all of which I recognized as God experiences even though I had zero religious upbringing. My parents were worse than atheists, they were church haters. At age 15 I had the most significant religious experiences. At that time God showed me my death. Though with zero information about who was with me or when it would be. I am to literally die in the arms of the love of my life. We are to depart this world together and go off into the afterlife together. I did not have a girlfriend at the time nor even someone in mind, so the vision did not have a face. The vision was so real I'm more convinced of its truth, which is for sure subject to some interpretation, than I am of the truth of gravity, solar winds, or the helium nucleus. About a year later I met Lydia. She was supposed to be one of the 2 girlfriends of a buddy, Peter, who had asked me to evaluate her for him. Long story. We agreed to meet at a certain place and time outside of the school. I had no thoughts going in, no premonitions, but when I was within 4 feet of her I was smitten. I have no idea what we talked about. I don't know how her hand got into mine. All I do know was the effect she had on me, and I on her. It was so certain, there was no question, it literally never even occurred to me to ask. I felt this sensation in my heart. Center of my body. Center of my soul. That I likened to a rising sensation, similar to the elevator sensation. It was the same sensation that starts the OOBEs, and for the same reason, it was about an experience not of the body but of the soul. In later years I came to realize why these are God experiences, and also why the old saying exists, God is love. At that moment I realized totally and instantly the solution to Peter's problem. He had nothing to evaluate about Lydia, she was my promised one. Promised by God a year earlier. Lydia and I knew we were madly in love right there that day, that moment. There was no process, it was an event. Peter was actually happy to have his problem solved and actually thanked me for it. Lydia and I were lovers that moment, though we were both virgins. Within a week or 2, our whole relationship feels like one day to me. We also became lovers, the way they mean it in the books. We went everywhere together and did everything together. Our relationship was not trouble-free, but we never fought, we never doubted each other. We adored each other, there just was no choosing, we were for each other, forever. Lydia's mother tolerated us for over a year, but she became friends with a lesbian who was a true man-hater. Things started to change. Our last 6 months were difficult, Lydia and I were constantly having to dodge around her mother. Eventually we quit school and moved in together in the nearest city, 90 miles away. We got an apartment and were starting to build a life routine. It was like being married but without the license or ring. One day, 3 weeks before Lydia's 16th birthday, the police came through the door. Lydia's mother had reported her missing. They took Lydia away in handcuffs. The day after her birthday they could not have taken her, but shit happens. Her mother figured she'd get even and solve some of her home problems at the same time. Raising 3 kids on a fixed income. She sent Lydia to her father, 2,000 miles away. I was devastated when Lydia was taken, but I figured we'd be back together soon, after all we were meant to be together, destiny. Within a week or two, I began to hear rumors from back home that Lydia had been sent away. The rumors were wrong about where she was sent, though. I started going through phone books in the library, looking for the listings where I thought she was. I was hoping that her last name was her father's name and I might find her that way. Having the wrong city made that effort pointless, but I didn't know. Within a few months I began to realize I was going to have to do more, that the phone books were not going to solve my problem. I convinced my buddy to help. He knew Lydia quite well. We tried to put together enough money to go to the city where I thought she was, to search for her in person.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.
In the middle of this process I began to have a life again. Though not on purpose. Eventually I ended up living with the woman who had been our landlady. Lydia and mine. Living together for financial/convenience reasons. Eventually this lady, Linda, told me she wanted to us marry, that she didn't want her mother finding out that we were living in sin. Since Lydia was now long gone. Over a year, I said why not? After all, when I find Lydia, no silly license would going to hold me down. Meanwhile I had no reason not to. That marriage was a very good, pleasant relationship, but she wanted something from me I couldn't give, security. She eventually met an old school chum her age. She was 8 years older than me. And took off with him. We parted as friends. I still think fondly of her, though I have not seen her since 1981, I would not know how to find her if I wanted to. I don't. After that marriage, I had my first taste of being young and single. Eventually, I ended up applying to university. Mother talked me into applying as a mature student. I was completely surprised to get in. Partway through the first year I met this girl. I did not respect her, in fact my first thoughts/first impression was OMG. Here's a Niave, daddy's girl, but I did talk to her, looking to ease my loneliness and boredom on the hour-long bus ride. It was snowing so I offered to carry her suitcase. Her place was on the way to mine. She invited me in for coffee, and before morning we had sex. I was right, she was 21 and a virgin. She told me that the spirit of her dead grandfather said we were to marry. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. How to tell a naked virgin, you don't interest me? I never figured out the answer, so I never did tell her. So I ended up married to her, still missing Lydia, still mourning, still wondering how I would find her. I thought about personals ads in papers, but I was never sure which papers, which cities, so it didn't happen. That marriage lasted 10 years. I finished my graduate degree. I spent another year and a half being single. I eventually took out a personal ad, looking not for a lover but a forever friend. I told her in plain language that I no longer believed in love. Look how it worked for me, or anyone else. I told her I was looking for a compatible person to be a life partner, someone to share with, someone to be a friend, someone to share life's burdens, physical, social, financial. She needed a way to stay in the country, she was on an expired visitor's visa, so marriage solved both problems. At first, that relationship was pretty good, but not perfect. During that relationship, the internet came into existence, then Facebook. By 10 YRS in, I knew I would need out someday. By 15 years I knew it had to be soon. I finally hit my limit just 2 months before our 20th anniversary. I moved out and moved into a hostel. I tried one more time to find Lydia. I had searched several times a month for the last few years. Finally, amazingly, there she was, like magic. Maybe God was keeping me from finding her before leaving. Who knows? It took about 2 months of texts and phone calls, but finally she agreed I could come out to visit. Still 2,000 miles away, but now in the other direction because I had switched coasts. I went there and for 3 weeks it was amazing. Not like the intervening 39 years had not happened, but like we were still, us, the same us we had always been, but with new stories to share. I asked her to marry me. Her response I shall never forget. She said, yes, 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 yes. My God, I was happy. Finally, after all this shit, my life is finally working. We had 3 glorious weeks, mowing the lawn, walking, listening to songs, holding hands, shopping. I even managed to easily line up a job so I could go back, pack, and return, ready to take my place beside her. I even made friends with her mom. The first day back, I took a friend out flying. We were going to fly down to a beach I like to have a picnic. July 4th. We had to stop at a small local airport to refuel on the way to the beach. I hit a huge downdraft on the approach. Even at full throttle, my plane was still descending towards the bank. The airport was on the top of a hill. I hit a treetop. With no other options available, I pulled even harder. The plane couldn't climb that much. It stalled and dumped both of us nose first into the ground beside the runway, but at least the stall had killed all of our forward motion. We only fell about 30 feet. Luckily for us, there was an emergency specialist doctor and a 20 years veteran of search and rescue on the field at the moment of the crash. We were taken to the hospital. So many stitches no one even tried to count, 2 broken knees, a broken foot, lots of cuts and bruises, and enough head trauma that I have no memory of the first 6 hours. While I was recovering, in a wheelchair, I kept in touch with Lydia. Everything seemed normal at first, but when I asked her to help arrange a wheelchair rental on her end, so I could rush to her right away, she began to be a bit off. I think she was being overwhelmed. A few days later, it got dramatically worse. She actually said to me, totally out of the blue, "I'm not ready for a relationship. Call me in another 30 years, then she hung up. I can't begin to describe how devastating that was. After a few weeks, with the help of a friend, disinterested party, I began to realize what the problem was. Lydia had been abandoned by her father, then emotionally abandoned by her mother, then betrayed by her mother, then abandoned by me. I didn't come find her when she was 16, when she had been kidnapped by her parents, then abandoned by several brutish lovers. One even left scars. Then her husband died, thereby abandoning her yet again. So when I was away, and my efforts to come home were a bit unpredictable and involved dealing with scary stuff. A guy in a wheelchair. No wonder her emotional centers felt abandoned. We humans have logic, but we are not logical beings. No problem. I would just continue the process of arranging my affairs and then go to her. Once I got there in person, things would go back to normal, and this time I will know better. I will not stay away overnight. Unfortunately, my ex got involved in the insurance from the plane crash, and she really slowed down all of the paperwork, messed with my plans. Meanwhile, I made no effort to contact Lydia. I love her and do not want to make her feel uncomfortable, not even for my benefit. Since then I found that she met some other guy and is now married again. I can't make her sad or feel guilty, so again I do nothing. I will just wait until he dies or leaves her. I was still in that state, marking time till I could go to Lydia, when I fell madly in love with another woman. For the very first time in memory, over 41 years now, I actually thought of Claudia only. There was no waiting for Lydia in the back of my mind, no thinking this will do until I find Lydia. That is not to say that I'm not still madly in love with Lydia. I am madly in love with both of these women now. And for now at least, both of them are unavailable to me. One is 1,500 miles away, the other is 2,000 miles. One is unavailable by marriage and psychology, the other is unavailable for economic reasons. I feel doubly blessed, though most people never find their true love. About 5% do. And of those that do, probably most of them have no idea how special and rare their relationship is. I've been lucky. If that's the right word, luck. Enough to experience that rare kind of love twice, and you can bet your ass I know and appreciate that. Hint to God. I really wouldn't mind a few years of wedded bliss before coming to you. Just saying.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.